Hello everyone. Many of you will already know me. My name's Nicola Ross and I've coordinated child law since 2004 and I want to welcome you to this course. Child law is an interdisciplinary course for law and social work students and I came into this subject for two reasons. First of all, I came in with a background in both social work and in law, and secondly, my primary research area is in the area of children's participation in legal processes and decision making in relation to their lives. The three areas that I've focused on in my research are family law, child protection and crime. So some law students will know me because I also teach family law, and some of you will have done family law, and I've met the social work students in the mid-placement meeting and seminar that we had that looked at sources of law and their relevance to social work. So I hope to make you all feel welcome in this subject and that it's a useful learning experience for you, that it's both enjoyable and useful to your future careers. So the themes in this subject are threefold. First of all, we'll be looking at children's human and legal rights under international and domestic laws, in particular in the areas of family law, crime and child protection. Secondly, and it's a very interesting topic, we look at how the law perceives children and young people and how it supports children and young people to participate or not to participate in legal processes when decisions are made about them. This area can throw light on how the law treats diverse populations in society and not only on how the law treats children. And thirdly, how interprofessional collaboration, or the lack of it, between lawyers and social workers and also professional practice impact upon children and the realisation of their rights. So I'm going to talk to you now about some practical aspects about the course, about class times and attendance, assessment and so on. First of all, there are 3 contact hours of class a week for child law, and you should aim to attend them all if you aim to do well in this subject. There's 1 2-hour interdisciplinary seminar each week, only one. There was to be 2, there's now only 1. And every student will attend a 1-hour tutorial, either a social work tutorial or a law tutorial. There is reading set in the course outline, and that reading pertains to the interdisciplinary seminar, but there will be additional reading set for the tutorials as well, that is specifically related to your professional work and also to the assessment. So you need to attend the interdisciplinary seminars because they introduce the substantive laws and the content for the subject, and because they support the team project and your other assessments. It's important that you attend tutorials, as this supports your assessment and allows for you to get more depth and focus at an interdisciplinary level. So going back to the themes and beginning with children and young people's human and domestic legal rights. The course begins with a look at the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child and at children's legal capacity in Australia. We look in more depth in the course at the Family Law Act, at the Children Criminal Proceedings Act and at the Children and Young People's Care and Protection Act. The second theme is about children's participation, and we look critically at how the law thinks about children and young people in different jurisdictions, and it does perceive them as different in different jurisdictions, and how the work of professionals supports or inhibits children and young people's participation in legal processes. And this includes a look at new theories about children and about childhood that emphasise children's strengths and the active contribution they make to their lives in a number of respects. And it doesn't start from the point that children are always vulnerable dependents without the capacity to contribute to decisions that are made about their lives. So it's a new way of thinking about children and the contact that they have with the law. There's been a lot of research that's been done in this area recently, and we'll look at that in the context of the course as well. And that research, I should say, is research that's actually done with children about their perceptions of the services they receive and about their perceptions of their contact with the law and professionals who work in the law. The third theme is about interprofessional collaboration. So one of the main aims of the subject is to enhance interprofessional collaboration and to teach skills in this area. And given that is the case, there's assessment in the subject of a team project, and that is worth actually 30% of the subject. That's a creative presentation on a children's human rights topic. I'll give you a little information here, but all of this is provided in detail on Blackboard. So please go in and explore Blackboard, have a look at how it's set up, and you should be able to find all the information that you need there when you need it in more detail. So students will be actively involved in teams in this subject. And once I've finalised the teams, and that will be by week 3, students will upload information about their background, their interest and their experience in working with children and young people to their team blog site. There'll be 3 compulsory meetings in class time, and teams can meet outside of class time as well to finalise their projects. They will form a team contract and a team plan, and they will elect a chair and a minute taker, and that can be on a rotating basis, who will take minutes of each of the meetings that they have in class and who will upload those minutes to the team blog site. The contract and team plan will also be uploaded to the team blog site. The coordinator will give 1 overall mark for the team presentation, which is due in week 11, but students will moderate that mark through peer assessment software called Spark. If students don't contribute to their team and to the team projects, then their colleagues will mark them down in that assessment. And in addition, as a way of supporting students engaging with their teams, they'll also lose marks if they don't attend one of the 3 compulsory meetings. So there is a lot to learn in child law, but I think probably the most transformational aspect of the learning in this subject is about the fact that you work with students from a different background, who have different knowledge, different values and different practices to those that you have in either law or social work. And I hope that you will take the value that there is to offer away from this course in relation to that interprofessional work that you do. Many students really enjoy the work that they do in the teams, and most of them acknowledge that the more you put in, the more you get out of it. So some of the other teaching devices that I use a hypothetical family case study to explore interdisciplinary responses to legal issues that arise in families with children. Some aspects of that hypothetical I've now dramatised on film to give you a better idea of the kinds of situations that children's lawyers and social workers are likely to meet in this field. So students will work in teams in class to think about responses to the needs of children and young people in these families, in the hypothetical family. I also bring in guest speakers to share their practical expertise with us as a class and to make sure that the subject remains relevant. And these speakers make the work in this area really come alive. So just briefly on assessment, as I said, both law and social work students will do the team project, and that's worth 30%. In addition, law students go into more depth in their disciplinary area and in the tutorials looking at cases and legal doctrines. They do exercises in tutorials that help them to apply their learning about the substantive law that they've met in the interdisciplinary seminar to 2 written legal advices. The first is on either a family law or criminal law problem, and this is the assessable problem is a different problem to the hypothetical family problem that you'll meet in class. And that first written advice is worth 30% and due in week 8. The second written advice is on child protection and worth 40%, and that's due in week 13. The social work students also have 70% of individual assessment, and this includes 3 in-class quizzes, and these quizzes are in the tutorial classes, and they're each worth 10%, so that makes a total of 30%. And they're administered in weeks 4, 8 and 12. And those tutorials test knowledge of the information contained in readings set for the subject and in material covered in classes. Social work students also complete an advocacy letter worth 40%, and that's due at the end of the semester, in week 12, I think. So Blackboard. The subject is taught in modules, and the modules represent content areas or substantive content areas. Under each module is a topic, and the topics represent individual weeks. So topic 1 is week 1. Some modules, such as the first and second module, only have 1 topic, so they're taught only over 1 week, while others cover 2 weeks, so they have 2 topics, and the final module of child protection is taught over 4 weeks. There are 6 modules altogether, and 12 topics because the course takes place over 12 weeks. Each topic on Blackboard is divided into 3 content folders that cover, first of all, the interdisciplinary seminar, secondly, the law tutorial, and thirdly, the social work tutorial. Now, materials for those tutorials will be found in those content folders. Having said that, the tutorials will not always exactly mirror either the module or the topic area because they tend to travel a bit behind, given that all of our classes take place on one day. I'll attempt, though, to have the materials for the interdisciplinary seminars and the tutorials up on Blackboard as early as possible, and therefore you can read ahead for those classes. All the information about the assessments is up under the assessment tab, so please go and explore that now for yourselves. And there is a discussion board, and I would encourage you to either email me with questions, which I will then put up, keeping you anonymous, with my answer so that information is accessible to everybody and I'm not answering the same question multiple times, or alternately, just put a question up yourselves on discussion board. So that's all I can think of right now. I enjoy teaching this course and I hope that you'll enjoy learning in this course. This area is of growing interest to children's lawyers and many social workers in Australia. The course is quite unique in Australia and possibly internationally, given its focus on children's contact with the law from a professional interdisciplinary perspective. I will see you in class.